240. As always,
Shit.
Adam the Mallet to the left.
Hey, jumping right in early today. Look at that shit.
Yeah, let's just get this ball going. In case our guest joins us in a little bit. We're supposed to have a guest on tonight. Supposedly, was it just how do you pronounce this full name? It's just Jelani, a friend of the of our old co-host. What's his face? Ryan Glover. Of course. How could I forget the Glover?
Good old Ryan Glover.
Ryan Glover, for his new podcast going on, contacted me the other day and was like, hey, want to bring one of my friends on? I said, sure. We're always looking for some guests. And now for the summer schedule, we're only on for every other Thursday till, I think it's till October. So we might as well get as many groupies in as possible. So that's the way it rolls.
It's true.
So as you guys all know, the Oakland A's are looks like officially moving. So apparently they're about a signature from the governor of Nevada away to make the move official. The Congress in Nevada passed the bill to allow them to use some money to build them a new stadium. They already secured the property, and all the governor has to do is do a signature, and then tomorrow they'll probably start the process of closing the Tropicana Casino. And I'm going to say they're probably going to, not like they implode a hotel every New Year's Eve. I would say Tropicana is probably going to get blown up New Year's Eve.
That'd be cool.
So, unless they're going to save it for a movie or something like that, they're going to blow it up for it. But so apparently in Oakland, the average attendance for the games leading up until yesterday was 4,000 people a game, right? Now, keep in mind, the stadium has a capacity of about 65,000, and their minor league stadium has a capacity of about 11,000, and they sell out almost every single game. They get at least 8,000 to 9,000 people at their minor league games. So what the fans of the Oakland A's did last night was do an anti-protest. They got as many people as possible together to go to the game. And when you got to the game, you got a T-shirt that said "Sell the team," and you got like a script of when you're going to yell stuff at certain times of the game. They got 27,000 people to go. Now, mind you, they only usually get about 4,000 people. So it's quite the crowd. And everyone seemed to be pretty proactive about the way they were doing it. It was actually pretty cool. They're like, when the first batter comes up, you're going to have to say this. And they started chanting something. And then they're like, all right, when this happens in the second inning, start cheering this. And everyone was doing like it pretty good. It was like, it's pretty impressive to watch.
Yeah.
Adam DeWoo was there because he's trying to go see every single Oakland we call it Rays away game this year. So they were playing the Rays, of course. So I don't know if the anti-protest is what to do on it. You know what I mean? I think it
seems kind of petty because it's like they're gonna go anyway. Like, right. What's that gonna do? What's it gonna do? You know?
Yeah. At this point, they're gone. They're not staying in Oakland. And it's no fault to the fans. I get why they're not showing up. They're not putting a productive product on the field. They're not showing up because they hate the owner. I get all that. I understand that. So you don't blame the fans, but I do blame, obviously, the city of Oakland for not wanting to put the money up. How many years have they been trying to get a new stadium? 15 years? 20 years?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, they've been trying even longer than that, I believe. Because they were even trying, because they never wanted to play. I mean, the Coliseum was built in the 70s. I think in the 90s, they were even trying to get their own stadium. Once everyone started getting new stadiums, like mid-90s, and they were separating from the football stadiums and becoming their own entity, they were totally on board doing it. And then they were going to move them to Long Beach. And then the Giants were protesting that because they were saying that it was interfering with Giants territory. And they didn't want that. And then, there's a couple of numerous ideas. I know there was talks of them moving to other cities, Portland, for expansion and stuff like this. But I feel bad for the Oakland fans, but because if you live in Oakland right now, you lost the Golden State Warriors 3 years ago when they moved them out of Oakland to San Francisco. You lost the Raiders a few years ago as well when they moved them to Las Vegas. Now you're going to lose the only team you got left there, and they're going to go to Vegas too. And it's inevitable. And you would probably say for the foreseeable future, for at least in our lifetime, we'll probably never see another baseball team in Oakland or a sports team for that matter, because when you look at it, when they expand, like there's plenty of cities that lost a team, they're probably going to get it back. Like, for example, like Seattle Supersonics basketball team left. They're probably going to get the next basketball team. That's probably what's going to happen. But And you can see it like, all right, they didn't deserve to leave. The fans wanted the team to stay there. The state wanted them to stay there, all this stuff. But like Oakland, I don't think so. Why would any professional commissioner think that Oakland was a good team, a city to expand to? You know what I mean?
It's true. I feel like, yeah, maybe not in our lifetime or maybe 30 years from now. Like, you know how it goes. Like someone's going to test it. Someone's going to be like, maybe we should try putting a team back here again,
You know, it would probably be a likely situation would be someone like the Giants, someone who's already in the area. Now that Giants ballpark's getting old, right? Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about 30, 40 years from now, right? It's getting old and run down. They need a new ballpark. San Francisco's a hellhole. It's probably going to be like, what's that movie where they close the city down for 24 hours and everyone kills each other?
Oh, the purge.
Yeah, San Francisco will be like a permanent purge, and no one will want to invest money into the city. So maybe at that point, Oakland all of a sudden has a renaissance, right? And now Oakland is now San Francisco, and now they move the team back over there. So I mean, that's always something to think about. But as to a brand new team going there and expansion, I don't think it's going to happen. But I do think there is a possibility that a team would move there. But I don't see it anytime soon. To be honest with you, I don't think it's not showing that they want one.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Speaking of baseball, funny. I was just cleaning my apartment a little bit, and I had the MLB game on. I was MLB Network on. I was watching the Tigers and Twins. It was just on in the background, and I hear a name, and I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "He's still playing?" Miguel Cabrera.
Is he? Who's he? He's in the Twins, right?
No, Tigers.
I mean, Tigers, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I remember he had like a fucking ridiculous, like 11-year deal, whatever, like that. Yeah. I'm like, Miguel Cabrera. Right. And I look over and and then I'm like, I just looked right now. He's batting, 226. Okay. 1 home run. But he's a Hall of Famer, man. Like he's got 508 career home runs and a career batting average of 307. So
he's a beast. And while you're watching that game, another familiar name, Rocco
Baldelli. Yeah, he's a coach, right?
Coach of the Twins there. And I was reading an article. He's so into the Twins. He had a baby a couple years ago, and they were twins. So there you go, twin girls. So he goes all in. He's a Rhode Island guy. Remember the big deal when he was drafted? He was playing for Tampa Bay. The Sox got him for a season right before he was pretty much done retiring. But So, tonight we're testing. I have the computer hardwired right now. I have 100-foot cord coming from my office all the way to the living room. So
how's it going?
So you haven't had any glitches yet, have you, with this stream?
Honestly, I hear you perfectly. Honestly, it could be my computer too. The video is all kind of all over the place and laggy. Okay. But again, it could be me too. I have no idea. But I hear you crystal clear. There's no stuttering. There's no
I feel like I'm having better results in this time. So I think I'm gonna I can go into the basement from the wall right here. I think I'm just gonna permanently run the it's Cat 6 now. It's not even Cat 5. It's Cat 6. Run that into the basement, and I can pop it right up behind the TV and then have a permanent hardwire. And then what I'll eventually do is I'll just put a router in my office. So everything I have in here, I can just hardwire, make it easy for everything. But, I mean, you can't beat hardwire. I mean, Wi-Fi is nice and everything like that, but it's never going to be as fast and as strong as a signal as it is, you have a hardwired system over here. But
I learned something the other day. Did you know one of Brian Cashman's, the Yankees GM, one of his most trusted people that works in the Yankee office is Tim Nearing.
Oh, no kidding, really?
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, Tim fucking Nearing.
That's a name I haven't heard in 30 years. Tim
Nearing. Right.
Interesting. Yeah, I was reading an article today about Chaim Bloom saying he thinks he needs to get pitching for the team. He's just realizing now that he needs pitching.
Oh man, just realizing that, huh? Yeah, I'm wondering if somebody fucked us over. Like, I wonder if Theo Epstein recommended him and wanted to just fuck the Red Sox, and they got it all wrong.
Well, there was talks that Theo was going to come back to the Sox at some point. Last year, the year before. I think there's just too much bad blood with Henry. I mean, it's kind of you don't leave a job because. Yeah, you know what I mean? You don't leave a job because you wanted to, right? You leave a job because something happened or you don't like what's going on there. And 99% of the time if you go back to that same job when you left on your own reasons, other than if you moved or if something came up, you just moved on your own will, chances are you're not going to have a happy time there because there's a reason you left there, right? There's a reason you were unhappy. And if nothing's changed, it's going to be the same freaking shit. You know what are you going to do about it? So I don't think you'd ever go back.
Never.
The thing with Chaim Bloom is, well, first of all, we can know that John Henry's on his way out. He's pretty much done with the team. So he's too busy focused on other things or whatever. So at that point, just sell the team. Okay. It's a profitable team. You can sell it for a lot of money, and there's plenty of people going to buy it. No one's going to move this. First of all, no one's going to move the team out of Boston. No one's going to build them a new stadium. Everything's pretty much set up for whoever buys the team. You get a nice 20 years with a huge ability to spend money too. But that's the thing. So you need to get a new owner. You need to get a GM that's you need somewhere in the middle. You need like a Theo, because you need someone between a Chaim Bloom who doesn't want to spend and a Dombrowski that spends too much. Yes. And then gives rid of all your talent, right? So yeah, yes. Dombrowski got you up a World Series, but you depleted your entire. What'd you say the highest ranking minor league the Sox have is 76?
After Marcelo Mayer, yeah. I forget where Marcelo Mayer ranks, but after him, yeah. So I think he's in the. Hold on, I'll look it up.
Because that's garbage when you think about it, right? And when you going over about prospects, about the Rays and how they have all these top pitching prospects and stuff, and I get it when you don't win when you win World Series and you have good seasons and you make the playoffs, your draft pick's going to be fairly low. But that's when you need to be like a team like the Patriots. Well, that's probably bad. They don't know how to draft. You need to be a team.
So out of all of baseball, the Red Sox have the number 5 prospect. Okay. Okay, that's fine. After that, remember, this is the top 100. But if you think about it, even having a few in the top 100 is pretty good considering how many minor league players there are.
And he's a shortstop, right? That is.
Marcelo Mayer is a shortstop. And then after that, we got to go down to 82.
Okay. All right.
Outfielder, shortstop.
You get 2 in the 100.
Yeah, keep going. Let me double check. Yeah, 2 in the 100. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's not great. It's nice having a top 10 guy, but at the same time, it's just like when your next guy is 80 something, it's like, okay, there's 30 teams, I get it, but some teams have multiple guys, probably in the top 25, I would imagine, right? It's probably some of the teams not going to pay these guys.
Yeah, Arizona has the number 8, number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Orioles have a few in there.
But those teams aren't going to keep those guys. They're going to bring them up. They're going to have a nice couple quality seasons. They might make the playoffs, and then they're going to sell them off. It's not going to be able to keep those guys. They don't want to speed. I mean, I don't think, to be honest with you, I think every team could afford as many guys as they want. It's just a matter of if they don't want to spend the money. That's the thing.
Yep.
I mean, if you're owning a baseball team and you paid $1 billion for it, right? I mean, if you really wanted to win, you're going to spend the money. You're going to get your investors to go, yes, I need to sign this guy. You're going to do anything, of course, kind of like the Mets are doing right now. But I mean, that doesn't always prove to be the winning solution, because look at the Mets. They're just above average team right now, statistically. And they have the highest payroll. And look at the Sox. The Sox have the 4th highest payroll, and they're in last place.
Yeah.
First place in other divisions, but last place in the hottest division in baseball. When did we ever wake up in the morning in the last 20 years and we would say to each other that the AL East was going to be the hottest division in baseball?
Yeah.
I mean, that is something that it seems foreign to me.
Yeah, it was always just Red Sox and Yankees.
Red Sox and Yankees, and occasionally one of the other teams, whether it was the Toronto Blue Jays, would make a little run, or the Orioles would make a run. But
it'd perk up. Yeah.
And now, is it because you don't play the teams 19 times this time? You only play them 13 times, but I don't think that makes much of an effort. You were already playing the same schedule going into this new schedule thing. So everyone in the AL East would play the same team. So it wasn't like that was new. So it was fair and balanced in that matter. But I think what happened was those teams basically had to build a team to beat the Sox and Yankees at the point. Right now, you got to build teams to beat the Rays. That's the thing.
Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody when I was in New York over the weekend, and we were talking about it was just watching sitting at a bar watching the game, and it was like, God, we miss that fucking rivalry. We miss it so much, and it's something that was never coming back. You know what I mean?
It's funny because the rivalry kind of went away after 2004, after the Sox finally won. They finally got it. And talking to some Yankees fans, I feel like there's a rivalry coming back, but it's more of the Yankees being the pissed off little brother against the Red Sox because of how many times we've won. We've won 4 in the last 20 years. The Yankees have only won 1. We've been in more playoff appearances. We beat them, and now it's almost like and then look at Cole, right? Cole can't pitch against the Red Sox. He chokes, right? So that was almost like how Pedro was against the Yankees, right?
Yep.
So it's like over the last 20 years that the world has kind of the polls have kind of changed a little bit, and there's a lot of. Oh, did I lose you? There you are.
Oh,
hey, back.
That was weird. Hey,
yeah, hey. It's like the polls have changed, and the Yankees fans are a little bitter about the Red Sox, even though they get their 27 World Championships. I mean, it's great and everything like that, but like if you haven't won one in a while, then what good's the ones you have? You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's true.
You know, and it's like kind of when you think about it, like the Montreal Canadian hockey team, they got like 20-something championships, but they haven't won anything since like the 90s. So it's like, what are you gonna do? But I do feel that there's bitterness for Yankee fans towards Red Sox fans, and I think that's collectively they just, you know, especially Yankees fans our age and a little bit older who are just used to the Yankees just beating on the Sox for all those years, and now it's just like it's a draw. It's like anyone's game now. It's which is kind of cool, being kind of the top dog, kind of like being a Patriots fans all those years where everyone wanted to hate you.
I wonder, and you and I really can't judge because we weren't really around yet. Like, I wonder how that Red Sox era compares to the Celtics era in the 80s. You know, I would love to know. I want to talk to somebody who was in on both of those bigs. I really don't know. You know,
you mean in terms of like the Sox winning the last like 20 years kind of thing?
I mean, just kind of level of excitement and like just the level of intensity and like how awesome it was. You know what I mean? Like just the level of awesomeness, I would say.
It's like anything else. When you have bulk of it, you lose the passion for it after a while. So I mean, I would imagine that over time, and I even feel it's like the first World Series win in 2004 was a lot different than the last one in 2018. Like you're still excited, you're still happy your team wins. You're still into it. It's like the Patriots too. Like that sixth Super Bowl was not as exciting as the first one.
Yeah,
and I mean the Atlanta one was exciting for its own reasons. That had nothing to do with the amount of Super Bowls or getting there. It had to do with the actual game. Basically most Super Bowls the Patriots are in were boring as shit, except for that Atlanta one and that Philadelphia one, that they just ranked up crazy points. Like that was two Super Bowls where offense was all over the place on that one. I mean, you never ever seen that in a Patriots Super Bowl before. So even the ones they've lost, I guess other than 86 when they got smoked by the fucking Bears. But I mean, other than that, yeah. So it's like you kind of get sick of the Patriots. You know, you got sick a little bit of the Red Sox. I mean, there's a fatigue, I guess, a winning fatigue.
Well, there's a saying, Arty, you know, satisfaction is the death of desire. You know.
Well, then you get the disappointment like you do with the Celtics and the Bruins.
Yeah.
A team that should be a lot better than they are. Like, at least some of the Patriots and Red Sox teams, they're always good because you know you had some key players, but they weren't always to be projected to be the best, right? A lot of those times, those Red Sox ones, those guys, they were coming in as wildcat teams. You know, they were, not the best team in the American League at that point. Not even the best team in the league. I mean, they were playing those Cardinals teams they played, that Rockies team they played. I mean, those were that Dodgers team they played were way better team throughout the year than the Sox were.
True.
I mean, it doesn't matter when you get hot, I guess. But yeah, it's just a weird thing, and you get the disappointment from the Celtics and the Bruins. Like they get there every single year. I mean, I feel like they're in. I mean, the Celtics were in the they're in the Eastern Conference Championship like the last 5 or 6 years, right? And it's like, and they only get by once. It's just, how many times are you going to do the show before people just get sick of it, you know?
It's amazing how that lingers more too. The pain lingers more than the satisfaction. You know what I mean? Like when you win something, you know, you're happy for day 2 and then it's gone. When you fuck it up, it just manifests and like it just sits there and it just aggravates you. And it's harder to get to go away. It sucks.
Because you got to wait a whole season to go by. And if you're out of the playoffs, you got to wait for the full playoffs to finish. Then you got to wait for the season to start. Then you got to wait for the entire season to go by before you can even get a chance to get to that spot again. You have to wait 365 days basically before you can even touch that again. So yeah, it's like it's lingering there forever. But yeah, like you said, you're right. When you win, it's like, oh, this is great. I won. You know, you get the passion. But like you're right, because the last two, I would think of two particular times, and I don't know which one's worse than the other, that it hurt more. And it still hurts a little bit. It's the 03 Sox with the Aaron Boone home run, 7. That one still stings, and that one stunk so bad. I mean,
that hurt
all through the 2004 season in spring training and then regular season, and then you get into the playoffs, and then you see in the Yankees again. You have that optimistic, and then you down 03. I mean, that stinging lasted until Game 7, right? I mean, Game 7 of 2004 it lasted. It almost lasted. It lasted for a full year until you actually got the satisfaction. And then, of course, the undefeated Patriots of 07. That was an embarrassing loss to a wild card Giants team. When you look back on it, you almost anyway, you almost look back on you almost wish they just lost that game. I guess the season would have been, I mean, that Super Bowl, if they won, would have been incredible because they're undefeated. But I think if they weren't undefeated that year and they were just a regular team, I don't think it would have been that impressive. It would have been just like, oh, another Super Bowl win.
That was the first loss to the Giants, right?
Yeah, it was the Brandy Moss and the Wes Welker.
Yep.
And you look at it, you're like, damn, it's like you get so 18-1. And you tell someone you win 18-1 for the season, that's an incredible record. But then you realize the one game you lost was the most important game out of them all. It hurts just that much more. It's like so close.
Well, it's harder to play to defend it all than it is to like play for nothing. You know what I mean? When you got nothing to lose, it's a lot different. When you have to lose that record, it makes it even harder.
Yeah, the Giants had nothing to lose. They were just an average. They had a hell of an defensive line, though. That defense, that front core of the defense of the Giants were. Like, you had Strahan on that team. They were just monsters. And and you had the. It was funny because you had some Patriots players who were in like the Super Bowl for like the first time, like a Welker, right? And you got the jitters a little bit. He couldn't really hang. And we were talking about that ball that was thrown right into his hands with 2 minutes left, and it would have set up at least a field goal opportunity at the minimum, right, to win the game. Because I think the Patriots lost by like 1 point or 2 points or something like that. It's a really low scoring. I think a field goal would have won that game or something like that. But he misses that ball, goes through his hands. And you're sitting there, and then you think back to the second time they lost to the Giants, if you remember. It was Gronk's first time there, and his inability to catch the ball.
That's right.
And, you gave the Patriots the ball down by 3 with 2 minutes left in the game. Now, you telling me I would take that 9 out of 10 times that the Patriots are going to win that game, right? You figure Tom Brady, 2 minutes left, 2 minute drill. All they need is a field goal to tie it. Touchdown wins the game. Tom should have no issue doing this. And then he goes out there and 3 consecutive plays in a row go to Gronk, and he misses each catch. And you sit to yourself, you're like, fuck. The one guy on the team who was Mr. Dependable all season long got the whoops in the playoffs.
Well, by far, the Patriots have been in the Super Bowl more than any other team. They've been in the Super Bowl 11 times. Mm-hmm. So 11 times, 6-5.
6-5, not bad. And you got to remember, 6-5, they only got, what do they get? 3 losses of Brady. So Brady's what, 6-3? Yeah. So 6-3 in a Super Bowl. That's pretty fucking. He went to 9 Super Bowls with the Patriots. He went to 10 altogether. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Steelers are 6-2.
6-2 all times. Okay. And the Pats, so you said 6-5?
Yeah.
Okay, so they went to the dance a few more times. But you remember, up until Brady, we were 0-2 in the Super Bowl.
That's true, yeah. Niners are third at 5-2. They've been 7 times.
Okay.
Then the Cowboys, the Packers, then the Giants, the Raiders.
I just want to let you know, there's kids who are illegal enough to drink, right? Who are drinking now, and they have never seen the Cowboys in like a Super Bowl or something like that. I'm trying to think, was it 2013? So you had to be so 92 you could drink now, right? Yes, 92 you could drink. No, I'm sorry, 2002 you can drink, not 92. Yeah. So yeah, there's kids who are starting to drink right now who were born after the last time the Cowboys were in the Super Bowl. And
if you were born 9/11,
right? Yeah, you could drink. Yeah.
You could drink, yeah. So
just think of that. There's kids who've never seen, but their whole entire lives they're thinking the best. America's team is a little bit lacking. But I guess you could compare the state of America and how bad it is in some sense. The Cowboys do fit that mold perfectly. So
I mean the wussification of America.
Yes, exactly. Kids. Well, as you said, you had an incident. I don't know if you want to share it.
I've had multiple. I would love to share it. I've had multiple incidents over the course of a week. One starting at the Belmont Stakes, which was a glorious time. I had a great time watching the horse races, and won a couple bucks, and it was a merry time until right before the final race, when there were these children. When I say children, I mean young 20-somethings standing on the bench in front of me. And I asked, now looking back, I think my tone might have been a little aggressive.
At the Belmont.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they could have been not standing on the bench, and like they still would have seen everything.
So basically, what happened was you were standing to watch the race, and these kids.
We went down to the bottom, like we wanted to be right there, and like they were standing on the bench in front of us, and they didn't need to be. Even if they were not standing on top of the bench, they could have seen everything perfectly. So I asked, I'm like, "You guys gonna like get down from there?" And the response I got was, "Shut the fuck up, nobody cares." At which point I froze and
fuse broke your head.
Paused, and like in the movie The Terminator, when the screen is red and he's searching for a dialogue choice, I went with, this is 100% what happened. Sometimes when people say this, like, did you really say that? People, well, I thought it, and that's what I was going to say. No, what I'm about to say is exactly what I said. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you?" Right? So then it started into this whole fucking thing. And this kid telling me to shut the fuck up. And this girl who is looking at me, and she's like, "What are you?" She's like, "What are you doing down here? Shouldn't you be up in like the second balcony?" Implying like I'm too old. I shouldn't be down there with the younger people. I should be up top more. She's like, "What are you doing down here? Aren't you like 40? And not gonna lie, that hurt a little bit because she called it out, right? Right. She was right. But I just smiled, and I made a point back to her, and I'm like, "What am I doing down here? What are you doing down here? Do you even know how to place a bet? Or are you just down here for your Instagram and your TikTok?"
Yeah, which probably was for the most part.
And then she shut up, and then this Indian dude started getting him. He's like, "Just shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "Wow, you are not going to do anything."
Like what kind of Indian? Like from India or American Indian?
Not Native American Indian. India. Right. But American. He was an American.
Because I never really seen like Indians be controversial. Now, American Indians, I would say maybe they were just drinking a little too much and they got a little wild.
Yeah.
You were on their land, Adam.
Yes. No, but this is from India, that type. But like he wasn't American. He didn't have an accent. He wasn't American, but his parents were probably from whatever. Right. And he's telling me to shut the fuck up. And I'm like, dude, here's the thing. I realized then at this point, the main race, what I am there for, is about to start in less than 2 minutes. We just sang New York, and the race is ready to go because that's what they do before the main race. They sing New York, and everything goes right. And I am there for this. I am not going to get kicked out of a fucking race that I am there for because of some douchebag. So I said, you know what? Good luck, because I heard what horse that they were all betting on.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not so confident about my choices, I know Red Route 1 is not going to win that fucking race. Like, you're number 9. And I'm like, you know what, guys? The race is about to start. You're not going to fight me. I'm not going to fight you. So fuck off. Let's just watch the fucking race. Right. And they're like, "You're being a fucking asshole." And I'm like, "I don't care. Go fuck yourself." Right. So I'm like, I'm like, "What horse? 9? Good luck." Go 9. Go 9. Right. And they thought I was being sarcastic, but in a way, I was actually being authentic. Yeah, good luck. Because in my head, I know the horse is not going to win. Yeah. So race is over. They're gone. They leave. They're gone. And down at the bottom, I guess maybe one of them wanted to get closer for some photos. I don't know. I'm in my own conversation in my own world, but I noticed one of them is down by the fence, and I look at him and he's trying to get past me, but he's trying to get to like the concourse area. And the only way for him to get there is to walk past me. And like this kind of narrow, some of those are, there's like narrow area, right?
Yeah.
And so I am now purposely standing in a position knowing he has to pass me. And he then kind of gets beside somebody else, random person who was walking past me, to walk beside them on the other side of him, hoping I won't notice him. So I just kind of slowly follow him with my head turned like this. And he turns, he looks at me, and he's like, "I didn't say anything. Wasn't me. And he just kind of like skirts off like really fast, little shithead.
He's probably like, "My fucking friends left me. Here I am dealing with this lunatic. Clearly he's probably going to snap at some point. And I got to walk by him and have to deal with this." I'd be like, "Yeah, I'd be pissed. I'd be a little nervous if I was that kid too."
Girls getting into it. You don't talk to him that way. If you're gonna talk to him, if you're gonna be a bitch, you talk to me.
That's not how he played. He did not plan to start the day that way. He was like, "Damn, this is not how I wanted this to end." This is it.
That's how Southern girls talk, though. They defend their people. They defend their man. You know what I mean? You know.
Sometimes
I know you know.
Sometimes they're packing heat too. So it's like, hey, but not in New York, of course, because it's can't do anything in New York. But if you were doing that, pulling that shit down south, there'd be a chance that someone would be shot, or potentially, at least notified that someone has an armed weapon. You know.
And I don't know why anybody would want to have kids right now. I really don't. Like, even if you are the best parent in the world, Arty, you could be the best parent in the world, and even parents who are good parents, there's still a shot your kid could turn out to be a fuck up, right? There's a chance. But nowadays, even if you're a good parent, how can you possibly compete with all the other shit going on? Like today at the gym, shitbag puts a plastic Poland spring bottle on top of a piece of equipment and walks away, other end of the gym, to do exercises, right? I'm like, I'm doing mine. And I'm like, okay, he's gone. He must have just left his water there. So I go over there, working out. He comes over. I'm using this machine. I'm like, no.
No, you're not.
You know, you're not. And he's like, oh, this is my water bottle. And I started laughing. He's like, it's just a water bottle. He's like, well, that's rude. I was using this machine. And I'm like,
but like, how long was he gone for?
I'm not kidding. Maybe no more, between 5 and 10. I'll just say between 5 and 10 minutes.
So 10 minutes. Like, wait, and where did he go? Did he use another machine?
Yeah, he used another machine way at the other end of the gym, and he was talking to his friends.
That's not cool. That's all right. I can see if he maybe was taking a shit and he put the bottle there because to save it because he had to go take a bath or make a phone call somewhere. I'll give him that benefit of the doubt. But when you start using another piece of machinery, you have abandoned your right to use the prior machinery in which you're there. I don't care if you left your family there. If you're not using the machine and you decide to use something else, then you move on, sir.
I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, you sound very entitled. I don't know what to tell you. And I just sort of continued and just turned away and continued to work on the machine. And he eventually left.
Especially at the gym that we go to, that company, they don't have many machines that are multiples. Like there's like usually just one machine, or maybe if you get lucky, just two. But if there's a particular like routine you have, like we all have when we do certain machines, it like kind of like slows your day down, especially when you want to do like a quick workout. And you already know exactly what you're gonna do. And you gotta wait for some guy to leave his drink there while he goes and uses another machine and has a conversation. Some of that's just rude. That's just pure rude right there.
That's fucking rude.
It's the rudest freaking thing. That's
Thank you.
He's basically giving everyone in the gym the middle finger and telling you, go fuck yourselves.
See, that's not being a grumpy old man. That's just fucking manners.
No, that's just rude. Yeah, that's just. Yeah, that's when you said you started using another piece of equipment. That's what you sold me right there. I don't care. I don't need to hear the rest. You don't start using another piece of equipment and save another piece at the same time.
With your water bottle as a placeholder. You little shit.
Especially at the gym we go to, isn't anything too fancy either. It's the real run of the mill. It's just convenience.
We get what we pay for. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So it's not like you're at one of these high uppity gyms that cost like $100 and something a month, right? You know, because like at least at that point it's like, oh, all right, you know, there's not that many people there for the most part, right?
Yeah.
There's always a shit ton of people there. It's always packed at some point. You know what I mean?
I think I'm gonna get snipped. I'm really contemplating it.
Oh, so you're just gonna abandon the whole kid idea altogether, huh?
I've always been teetering on it, and now you know what? Dealing with these little shits all the time, I can't. How can you compete with that? How can you compete? Even if you raise your kid right, how can you compete with all the bullshit out there with these fucking turds? I can't.
Yeah. A lot of whack. Yeah, it's just it's
like
wacky these days.
I was listening to Toucher and Rich the other day, and they were reading something that somebody said. It was something that Stefan Diggs said in a tweet, and it was like it was like almost like a cryptic words. So this guy calls in, and because Toucher and Rich had no idea what he was saying in these cryptic words. Some guy calls in, and he's like, I knew what he was saying. He's saying this. And he's like, how did you know this? He's like, I'm an 8th grade teacher.
There you go. And I told you my experience. I had a DJ a 5th grade dance. In 5th grade girls, some of them are assholes.
Yeah,
just mean people. These little kids. They just it's the entitlement too. I don't get the thank you. I don't get the please. I get can you play this now? I mean, don't even please play this now is what they say. I shit myself. Like, oh, get me right now.
I get it. Like, I don't want to sound too lame, but like it's true. I mean, when you're in your early 20s and you're like a late teenager, you're supposed to be a little naive and stupid. You are. We've all done naive and stupid shit when we're in our late teens, early 20s. Come on. But I feel like it's on fucking steroids right now. I just can't deal with it.
There was this generation after us who were kids that were raised in the 70s. So they were the first of really like the spoiled type kids. I mean, our generation, a lot of us were spoiled. We had a lot of stuff. It was easy for a lot of stuff. But the 70s generation, like 7 or 8, 9 years older, were the first ones to start getting spoiled because they were the first generation that their parents had extra money. That you know what I mean? Like So it was like, the early baby boomer generation. So they all had the money. So they were spending it on their kids. And it got to the point where our generation pretty much leveled off. And then it went to where parents just pay for everything for the kids. And they don't even require them to do anything more. It just kind of dissipated into that situation.
Well, and they have all this money too, and I hate to say it, and I've said this before. I've said this, is that there's no one's fighting a war. There's no war. Of course, there's a war. There's war, Iraq, but there's not a world war going on.
Right. So, and what's going to happen if there's a war like that going on? These kids, you think,
smack them into shape.
Well, like, there's not enough people in the military right now, right? So when that happens, and there is a situation, a draft has to go into place because you need to keep the number up, right? So like, if like tomorrow they woke up and all the branches of the military were less than 50%, they would have to initiate a draft at least to fill it a quarter of the way, right? Yeah. Just to keep it steady. Or really convince people to enlist and stuff. And we got lucky enough on our age because we could have been in a situation, me and you, that if shit got really bad, we would have been drafted. Luckily enough, there was enough people already in the military, and because of after what happened with 9/11, everyone was they got a lot more people to join and sign up. But if that was a situation like now, and we were in a kind of a war like that, you and I would probably be drafted. They would probably have to bring back in the draft.
Not now, we're too old.
No, I'm saying back in.
Oh yeah.
If like,
I thought of that. And you know what I would have done to try to? You know what I would have done? The smart play is to enlist. That way, you have a better chance of picking what you want to do.
So that's what I would. I thought the same exact thing. If things look gloom, like it was like World War II type style shit, and I knew things were going to be bad, I would have probably enlisted in the Navy because then I got at least to pick what I wanted to do, and you could be able to test to be an officer, and you'd be able to maneuver yourself a little bit better. Yeah. Not someone who just got drafted and they threw you right into the army and you were a front guy and you were like,
fuck that noise.
Yeah, you don't pick that. That's just one of those things where you just like bad luck.
Air Force, cook.
Yeah. I had to. So both my grandfathers, one was a mechanic in the Air Force, the other one was a welder in the Navy. Mm-hmm. So they had trades where they needed to. I'm sure they knew how to shoot a gun and they had to do the basic training and shit, but like they would be the last person they'd be looking for. So like, if shit got bad, you know what I mean? They'd be throwing them a machine gun saying, hey, shoot away, buddy. Yeah. But, yeah. So exactly. So if there was a draft and you had to draft these kids coming out of high school and college age right now, like what would happen?
They have to. They're going to jail. Not everybody's going to run to Canada. Not everybody can run to Canada.
But no one's going to be able to pass the basic training. Right? And like,
I'd love to see it though.
You can't quit. And they can't.
They just dumb it down. They dumb it down so you pass.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's probably what they would do.
That's exactly what they would do.
Well, if they're desperate for people, they don't care. They just need warm bodies on the field.
Can you hold this rifle? Yes, sir. You're out there.
You don't even gotta hit what you're shooting at. Just get close to it. Use them as shields, basically. But
we'll let the guided missiles do the real work. You just aim that and pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's a tad terrifying that like. Yeah, you said it all the time, like you're scared of like what China has because of what the technology they developed that trumps us, and like God knows what they have, or they know, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
But like we said, we would like, we don't know, but we would like to think we're doing the same thing, You
would like to. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. I think at one point we were, but I think what happens like over time, like. I think they've caught up to us.
Yeah.
Like that satellite video you shown of like the replica of one of our warships in the middle of there. Like, yeah. That's some creepy shit right there. That's like,
yeah.
It's like we figured that it's an easy way to do training, right? Because if it's something that's for the most part, all the ships are close to being the same, right? Obviously, there's different dimensions and stuff like that, but a fundamental warship is built pretty much the same. So if you had one general model that you could do tactical force training on, then like, yeah, that's scary because it's pretty much saying that, we would be attacked and they know how to maneuver through the, and granted, you would like to think, hopefully, that, the design, the plans for these boats are top secret and no one has them but the manufacturer, and that the Chinese didn't somehow got Ocean's 11 of it and be able to get into the office, take a picture of it and then put it back, You'd hope so, but I don't know. Sometimes I'd rather not know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I always go in the lines of like, I rather know, most of the time, I'd rather just know the stuff than have to sit there with the worrying or the guilt or whatever that going on. I just want to know what the outcome is. But like something like that, I don't think I want to know, because if I learned it was true, then that would affect basically the rest of my life, because I would just be like, I just don't want to do anything anymore. Why would I want to do anything?
That's the point.
Game's over.
It's over.
You know, but I was listening to a podcast the other day, and there's a couple Canadians on there. I think it was Anthony Cumias, maybe. I think I was listening to, and they were talking about how it's inevitably in our lifetime, Canada will split into 2 or 3 different countries. Basically because it's similar to what's going on in this country right now, is that the polls of the both political parties are so far off, it causes pretty much nothing to be done, right? And then, but Canada has a little bit of a niche to it, because they also have Quebec, which still thinks they're French. So you have a very liberal party, you have a very conservative party, and then you have the French, and they're in their own. They all stick together. You know what I mean? So foreseeable, you would see Ontario and all the eastern provinces, other than Quebec, join into one country, be a very conservative Canada, or probably more a traditional Canada, to be honest with you. Quebec would be broken off and probably go more or less to like a traditional European style, like kind of like an Iceland probably has, or like an Ireland or something of that nature. And then you would have all Western Canada become a very conservative, more of a new style, more United States thinking type of way of governing. Closer to what you would think the American Republican Party. So you would have 3 countries. But the Canadian guys were also saying that they foresee that same thing happening in the United States at some point.
Yeah.
Because if you keep going 50-50 and you have complete odds on things and you can't get anything done, then the government's useless at that point. If no one wants to interject into a third party, or you can't get someone that crosses both lines, it's pretty much you're pretty much 2 countries already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Someone once asked me, do you think this country will ever have another civil war? And I said, we already are right now. We're in the middle of one right now. We're just not using weapons.
It's a proxy civil war, basically.
Pretty much.
It's without the actual
social media and all the hate. It's just hate.
And not to mention, with the wimpy people up north, the South would friggin' own us in a heartbeat if it was going north-south. All those rednecks down there working on pickup trucks and stuff that would kill the Northerners. They wouldn't have a chance. And I guarantee you to be a lot of Northerners like myself that they would deflect to the South.
They're not smart enough.
No, but you get enough Northerners that go down and join them in the South, though.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd be deflecting to the South. I'm like, hey, or for you guys. Yeah. These shits are going. You would have the nerds of like, we're gonna fly our drones and shoot it. They're all like an MIT sitting on like the dormitory, like flying the shit in there. And meanwhile, you get these rednecks with shotguns blowing them out of the sky with a couple of shots. That's the Civil War. Unfortunately, the Civil War probably won't be that peaceful. It'll be more.
No, definitely not. I do think it's interesting that nearly half of the population of the United States lives along the coast of the United States, and the other 50%.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the satellite of the lakes at night from space, and you can see how densely populated. And it's like you get pretty much the entire East Coast. And then the West Coast for the most part, but it's like you get these really bright spots. Like you have if you think of like the top 10 major cities in this country, other than Chicago, they're all coast cities for the most part, right? I mean, you think about it, it's like it's all these big cities on the coast. That's cities. It's nuts.
I'm always fascinated at night when you're on a plane and you look out the window. And, you see all the little civilizations, you see all the lights and where the roads and lights go. And then you'll see this couple little dots in the middle of fucking nowhere that at light, right? And you're like, who the fuck is out there? You know what I mean? It just
someone's house or something, right?
It just turns my brain. It's not even close to the cluster. It's way out there.
It is pretty amazing that the power of a light bulb, like a regular light bulb, can get you views 2 miles away.
Yeah.
You figure you're in an airplane, right? Usually when you're getting that low, you're usually probably like 20,000 feet above the ground, right? 3 miles, give or take, 4 miles.
Yeah.
But that you could still see a light bulb from someone's front porch from that height. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. How many miles? Let me see. How many miles is
So
30. I'm gonna say 30,000.
30,000 feet. You can see the light. Okay, that's 5 miles, 6 miles.
Is it?
Like four. It's what almost five. It's almost 5,000 miles per mile. It's 4,820.
It's 5.6 miles.
5%. Oh, I'm thinking. No, 5,000 miles. For now, 5,000 feet in a mile.
Yeah. 30,000 feet is 5.6 miles.
Okay. So. All right, and you can see a light.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
That's nuts.
But I don't think. But you wouldn't be able to see it on Earth because of the trajectory of the Earth.
No.
Isn't that crazy? Because of the curvature of the Earth, you wouldn't be able to see the light because.
Whoa, we're talking curves. Wait, whoa, Arty, I in a plane, I don't see no curve, man. Where's the curve?
It's flat. Earth. Losing their mind right now. They're like, no, man.
No, where's the fucking curve, man?
Right. Flat Earth is a very they're a dedicated group of people.
You know me and Flat Earth, buddy.
I like your infiltration of their groups.
I've tried and I've failed.
But they're set on that. Then I don't think there is one flat earther in this world you'll ever convince or train over. I think it's a cult. They're into it. They like it. That's what they believe, and that's what they're doing. And there's no changing them. It is what it is. It's like, you know.
Well, I told you that meme or that joke I read once. Guy, flat earther, he goes to heaven, he dies, he goes to heaven, and God says, "You can ask me one question." And the flat earther asks him, "Okay, is the Earth flat?" And God says, "No, it's round." And the flat earther says, "This conspiracy goes deeper than I ever thought." Yeah, there's no change in their fucking mind.
Yeah, they're pretty. Like, I like what there's this guy. I don't even know the show. I was watching the show on YouTube. Then they were showing this guy, but this guy, he'll bring on like guests, like outrageous guests. He's not afraid to argue with them. So that big flat Earth guy, I forget his name. The one that goes on all the shows and everything, that like the head of the flat earth was on, and the guy who was hosting the show is like, "Dude, you're just a fucking idiot." He's like, "What's wrong with you?" He's like, "You're just like," and like everything he said, he had an argument for it. Like, you can say, "Well, how come you can't see past a certain amount of miles, and then you can see a horizon, or like you have different times of day?" It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
Did you ever get a chance to watch that documentary on Netflix, The Flat Earthers? I'll say, if you haven't, I suggest watching it when you're high. It is the most hilarious thing you'll ever watch. It's very serious. It's
really.
And he's literally it opens with him standing on a shoreline and across like something that's not even like maybe a few miles away from him. He's like, "I don't see a curve." Like, thinking like being that close, you're still supposed to see a curve. Like, it is. Yeah. Is it you? It's like, are you fucking with me?
Well, it wasn't like one of them like skydive or something like that, but like from when you skydive, you're up high enough to kind of see a curvature, but you're not like totally. So you can give the illusion that like it kind of still looks flat if you want to make an argument. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean, I feel like you're always under the impression that, I mean, you can't never really see it because you're always on it. You're always on a curve,
right?
Like, right? Isn't that kind of how it works?
The radius is going to be in the millions, like, because you figure like you're virtually flat. Ooh, then maybe that's an argument the flat earther could say. You're virtually flat. Your radius is so small.
I'm trying to find this fucking photo.
But yeah, I guess I think it's fascinating that the speed that we spin and everything stays in place blows my mind sometimes. Like, you could put a ball like this on the table right there and it doesn't move a bit, right? We are spinning at like some kind of crazy number of rotations per minute.
Yeah.
And like when you think centrifugal force, this baseball in terms of spinning should be flying outwards, right?
Oh, see, now you're speaking flat earth language, Arty. That's what they say. That's why it's flat and we're stationary. We're not moving because we're not flying everywhere, Arty.
I'm about to argue myself and say, but because we're round and we are internally spinning, we are getting stuff drawn in, like it was pulling us in like a tidal wave, which is something the flat earthers would not believe.
Well, they don't understand that you can still move without things flying all over the place. If you were driving in your Jeep, right? And you have like a tennis ball, you can still go like this while you're driving and catch the ball. The ball's not going to go fucking flying.
I mean, you're in an airplane going 500 miles per hour and you could walk to the bathroom. In theory, you'd be getting blown back to the plane and being pressed up against the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Which I think is also, it's crazy because you can feel the acceleration when you're going, but like, yeah, like you don't realize when you're walking to the bathroom of an airplane, you're walking at 500 miles per hour. Is that fucking crazy?
in a freaking tin can.
In a tube with wings. And you're 5.5 miles up in the air.
It's true.
Like fucking flying is, how do people fly? It's crazy. When you break it down like that, you are flying in a machine.
Yeah.
I still get fascinated looking at airplanes. I can look at airplanes for hours. And just the matter of that, especially the big ones, like the old big Airbuses with the double levels, the ones they're building.
No, I can't get that. The fucking green screen thing.
It out.
Never mind.
What was it?
It's from the outside of a flight of the airplane window, showing that the Earth is indeed flat.
Oh, yeah, there you go. But like we fit you like, what was I talking about? Flying in an airplane. Oh, what it's made of and how like it gets in the air and that you're going that fast. It's just
it's terrifying. It's completely terrifying when you think about it. Yeah, like you said, we're in a tube and a giant cylindrical tin can flying 500 miles an hour at 30,000 feet. If you break it down, it's really like terrifying.
Fucking crazy. And the crazy part is, like 50, 60 years ago, they used to go up with one engine, like a propeller, like you would have on an air, like a boat.
Yeah. And go beyond that, like if you and I wanted to go to like the Kentucky Derby again, we'd have to leave like 3 months ago by a cart, right? And one of us would die of dysentery.
Or you could take an airplane, but you would have to stop like every hour, like every 100 miles to refuel. It'd take you like a day to get there, you know?
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
But yeah, it's just, it just fascinates me seeing like, if 500, they could put 500 people in a tube and send 5.5 miles above the earth and send it. I think the max flight is probably 15,000 miles, maybe 10,000 miles. I know you can fly from JFK to Australia now direct. They have like one flight that you can do that. And it's like a 14, 15 hour flight or something like that. It ends up being like 20 something hours after the time zone difference. But
it makes you wonder 50 years from now, they're going to be like, they flew in planes because it's like teleport systems.
Well, have you seen what's going on? Did you see what's going on in Arizona?
What now?
The aliens?
What now?
So 2 weeks ago, it was.
I read a lot about aliens.
It was caught on a bunch of people's ring cams, and an actual police officer seen it. This big giant orb coming from the sky, bright as bright could be, crash lands, and then makes a huge sonic boom. And people's ring cams were picking it up. Cops seen it, and then someone called the police and said something crashed in my backyard. And there's people out there, like a family, right?
All right, I'll look into this.
So the cops show up, and one of the cops sees something out there, right? Another cop seen the thing crash land. All of a sudden, the feds rolled in, and like in their black SUVs and stuff like this. And there's ring cam footage. I don't know if it's fabricated, of an alien.
Okay, well, you know what? This is the first I'm learning about this. Yeah. I'm gonna dive into this. I like this.
Alien ringing the doorbell, and he has like a puzzled look on his face. Like,
all right. Now you're starting to lose me. Yeah, that's where the alien rang the doorbell. Excuse me, I need help. Like
maybe just need to use the bathroom. His plane just crashed. Right. He needs a place to go. But yeah, there's a picture of it. It looks a little documented a little bit like. It looked like a traditional gray. They call,
I don't believe in grays, but I'm going to look into this. You know me, I'm a believer, but I'm a skeptic. I want to look into this.
It happened about a week ago. There's a lot of stuff you can find on YouTube, like short clips from but the news is picking it up, like their nightly news, like their NBC of the Phoenix is picking it up. Like they're actually having stories about it. And like they just interviewed the kid who called the police the other day, and he said that like his life is ruined. He keeps getting people coming from the government that keeps visiting him. I mean, dude, if this,
I'll look into it. All right.
If this is getting made up, they would have to involve a family, a police officer, and several neighborhoods to make this like, it could be.
People who are of higher ranked of military have lied about more.
True.
So
it could have been media. It could have been just an asteroid or a meteor crashing down too.
Yeah, big accusations require extreme evidence. So that's what I always say.
I agree 100%. So. It would be amazing. I'd be curious. I want to know, because this has been going on. I thought it was going to be a one-touch thing, but like every day on the news, they're talking about this. I'm pretty sure it was Arizona.
Like I'm like Mulder in the X-Files. He has that poster. I want to believe. Like I want to. Yeah. But I need like that definitive thing. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of things. Yeah. But I nothing.
Why do you think it is that the government is releasing stuff that UFO things have happened? Do you think?
Okay, this. Okay, oof. You want to? Oh, we have a few minutes. Okay. The government is doing this because they are trying to create a narrative, because we're reaching a point where they can't keep it all secret anymore. There's too many, there's too much going on where there's too much seeping out. There's too much documents being leaked. They know eventually they're going to have to own up to it. So one, it's a way of starting to control the narrative.
Okay.
Right. If you get it in the beginning, you can eventually steer it your own way. Now, my biggest fear is I can see this happening. Is then they're drilling this whole UFO crap down our throat. They're doing all this. And then someday, all of a sudden, an attack happens, right? But it's not the UFOs. It's us. It's another country, but they're blaming the UFOs.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's almost like a warm-up, what they're doing right now. They're getting us used to, oh, what is this? We don't know what it is. We don't know what that is. Right. And in some cases, maybe they don't. But honestly, most of them, I would say 99% of the ones that we can explain are us with reverse engineered technology. But I do believe some of them are them also.
I mean, I've talked to pilots. I talked to a lot of pilots, and they've seen some shit. Some are a little more talkative than others about it. Like some get a few drinks in them, and I go, hey, you ever see anything up there that wasn't an airplane kind of thing?
I talked to a few people. I've talked to a few retired Air Force lieutenants. I've talked to a few lieutenant generals. I don't say as much as I know in terms of who I've talked to, because some of them don't even want me to talk. Because they don't even want to talk. Some of them it hurts. It would hurt their career.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Really want to talk about some can't wait to talk about it. They're like a Gossman little girl. They're like, I can't wait to.
But the stigma is changing. I'm glad that's happening. The stigma is kind of changing.
I also believe a lot of that stuff is probably military stuff too, especially the stuff over in like Nevada and stuff like near Area 51, obviously being an experimental EF base. I think some of it's re-engineering, some of it's reverse engineering, some of it's us just fucking around with stuff, trying to figure it out, Yeah,
that's true.
It's kind of creepy. It's like, maybe you're right. It's tougher and tougher to keep secrets. So now if you just tell the secret, it doesn't look like it's a secret.
And then you can mold the narrative your own way. Yeah.
Because
that's what I was told.
The whole alien thing fascinates me because if you were an alien and you traveled amongst a planet, right? Say me and you were just on a spaceship, right? We're just fucking cruising. And then we find this planet and there's people aliens there. What would be the first thing you want to check out?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, you would think the best of the best are the ones here. So it's probably something scientific. They're not just sending common schmucks to go check it out women.
Maybe check out where the university is or something like that, or meet one of the officials, or
no, probably something like volcanoes. And there is a lot of activity of UFOs around volcanoes, because think about it, that's where all the elements kind of come together. That's where they can study things.
True.
What's within the planet? You know what I mean?
That'd be friggin' wild.
I would say there's definitely more than one species. I'm confident in two. I think there's about at least maybe more, but there's probably two different species.
And do you think the narrative is they're more likely to want to be friendly with us or controversial?
Friendly, because I don't believe it's possible to possess that level of technology without destroying yourself.
I agree too, and I also think that the reason they're because all these movies they shape it to be like they're evil because they need minerals that are on this planet, or they need no. I think it's going to be something similar to a species that maybe doesn't look like us or speak like us or talk like us or anything, but they're like us, and we've mingled.
You could also make the case too that I'm open to this too. Maybe they're not aliens. Maybe it's some sort of interdimensional. There's video of these things kind of phasing in and phasing out. It could be something. Maybe what we think are ghosts are actually not ghosts, and they're actually interdimensional beings.
Crazy. And there's maybe a little static because when they're traveling through different places, there's a little interruption, like when you put a cell phone too close to your headphones.
I'm open, man. Yeah, who knows?
That's a ghost. So putting your cell phone too close to headphones and having that sound is the equivalent of a ghost traveling through dimensions and coming slowly through ours because of a warp in time.
Yeah,
that's a possibility. I like that.
All I have is ideas, man. All I have is ideas. I don't know. No one has any proof.
I still think that aliens are integrated with humans, to really be honest with you.
I mean, that's the best way to infiltrate. You're not going to wipe out a species. You're going to find a way to get with them and actually be intermingled within the chain.
So I've read people with hazel eyes, because hazel is not a natural color of eyes in the species on this planet.
So I'm an alien, huh? Look at how about Taylor Swift? No, seriously, she looks like a fucking
blue eyes though.
But she looks like an alien.
She does look like an alien, yeah.
She looks like those stereotypical
actually,
Nordic.
She's on the commercial right now. Yeah, you're right. She looks like a gray. So like they say gray-eyed people because the color of gray is the natural color found in species on this planet. So you sometime down the line you are a relative that was an alien, and that
I don't believe in gray aliens actually.
It doesn't have to be gray, just an alien in general. Maybe it was a hot-looking alien or something like that. And you're
would you ever do an alien hypothetically?
Yeah, yeah, maybe.
I think I said this.
Story would be funny.
Well, I would only on the condition. I'm going to ask if once I put it in, is it going to come out? Because I don't know what their mating rituals are.
Right. They bite you. They kill you like the spiders do. They eat,
praying mantis.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be interesting, huh? Unless they're, like I said, I think they're already integrated among us. I think we encounter aliens or like I don't think the people who are the aliens we know they're aliens. I think they have alien blood. It all focus back. And I think at some point, if we do get like say in a war with a alien force, and those are the alien, ancestors, the people that have the alien blood will be able to be taken away and survive.
Well, funny you should mention that. Now you're getting into some Eric von Däniken stuff with Chariots of the Gods, which is like the the ancient astronaut theory. You kind of get into that, and what you're saying kind of might have already happened. Maybe they took the Homo sapiens, the apes, and they gave them a little juice, little DNA boost there, and changed their DNA around.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see a map of evolution and when everything started developing, but it's kind of fucking crazy.
They were called the Anunnaki, apparently.
Yeah, sounds like a meal at a Japanese steakhouse.
Yeah, that's our weird talk for today.
There you go. Yeah, that brings me. I guess
we went baseball. We went aliens.
Only this show you can go baseball to aliens in an hour, and that's what we did. Now, if there's only a baseball team called the Aliens, it'd be all set.
That'd be great.
But there you go. All right. So you plugging anything good?
I'm not, sir. I'm good. I'm just chilling.
All right. You can get this show and all the other shows on the Wicked Explorers, TW Explorers on YouTube, and of course the ID84 show on anywhere you get your podcasting video here. So there you go. Until not next week, but the week after next, we'll see you guys then. Toodaloo.
Peace out.
Bye.